Welcome back to the Heal and Restore podcast with your host, me. Not very exciting, but it's
Me,
right?
and
Andy.
get a little more excited.
I'm
You're
trying
a good host.
Okay, but you're the hostess with the mostest.
Thank you.
I guess I could be the host with the most.
Yeah, and I get the mostest.
Yeah, that's about right in our relationship.
That's true.
So.
Hey, that works.
Yeah. So our heart is to help individuals and couples grow stronger through healing, honest conversations, and meaningful connection. Each week, we talk about real life topics like communication.
What?
Communication.
Huh?
Forgiveness. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Intimacy, family, and emotional health.
Yeah.
Because healthy relationships begin with healed hearts.
Yeah, they do.
Right? Thanks for tuning in as we take another step together toward restoring what matters most.
Absolutely.
What is it matters the most?
You and I.
Okay.
And our listeners.
Yeah. The relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So today we're glad that you're joining us because we're going to be talking about something every relationship will face at some point in time, and that is the big C word, conflict.
Real quick though, that conflict, we want to start it at home, but this will apply what we're going to talk about. It's going to apply to everyday life with your kids, with your employees, with your employers, straight across the board. I know we're talking to couples, but you can apply this to everyday life.
Yeah, most everything we talk about can be applied to everyday life for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not just conflict itself, but what happens after conflict.
Yeah.
That
was our challenge.
Oh, yeah. Because the truth is, conflict is inevitable in every marriage and relationship. But what often determines the health of a relationship is not whether conflict happens, because it's gonna.
Yep.
But it's whether there is repair afterward.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, so today's episode, guess what it's called? The Power of Repair After Conflict.
What a concept.
Yeah. And this is truly such an important conversation because many couples, we don't necessarily know how to come back after we've been hurt or triggered or misunderstood or emotionally disconnected. Yep. So we're gonna get into that.
We're gonna dive into this, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right. So if you've ever found yourself wondering, how do we move forward after an argument? It's a great question, right? How do we reconnect after things have been said? That's even a better question. That could be a tough one. Right? How do we stop staying stuck in tension? Any of those apply to you, or if you experience any of those, then this episode is definitely for you.
Yeah.
So let's start with the truth. Conflict is not always the problem. In fact, it can be a great way to grow.
It has for us.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. A lot of couples think, well, if we argue, something must be wrong with our marriage. Absolutely not. Absolutely. It's just, again, it's part of growth.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily true.
No, not at all. Conflict, it's actually a normal part of any close relationship because, this is what's really, we have to really hear this, is because you have two different people.
Yep.
Two different histories.
Yep.
Two different emotional systems, and two different ways of seeing and experiencing life.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You and I are complete opposites.
Oh, yeah. Thank goodness.
All right. Yeah, thank God. Conflict is often simply the place where those differences collide.
Crash.
And sometimes it can be bad.
Yep.
The real issue is not conflict itself. The real issue is what we do with it. Do we use conflict to attack? Shut down?
Yeah.
Defend? That's a big one.
Yeah.
We're all constantly in a defense mode. To withdraw? And to punish. Or do we learn how to use it as an opportunity, this is the better part, for understanding, for growth, connection, and healing?
Yeah.
That's where the true repair comes in.
That's why repair becomes so powerful. That's why it's so powerful. We have to get to a place of repair.
So, oftentimes we hear, they're so much, or he or she's so much different than me. Why can't they be just like me? Mm. Thank God you're not alike, right? The greatest gift you can have is to have opposites in a relationship. When we were going through our therapy 20 years ago, that's one thing our therapist told us. Thank God you guys aren't alike, because this would be a disastrous marriage, right? Yeah. So it's when we marry somebody that's opposite of us with our personality, it's a great way to learn, and it's a great way to help each other balance their attributes out.
Everybody has a gift.
Absolutely. You know, like for me, I was over the top, go, 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 go. Cathy's more mellow, you know, c'est la vie, and let's, you know, go slow. And it was hard for her to adjust to me, hard for me to adjust to her. Mm-hmm. But in the long run, it's taken a while.
We found the balance in that.
You'll find that balance and allow each other, oh, all right, that's just who he is, and I understand him, and vice versa. So, you know, if he or she is opposite of you,
embrace it.
Embrace it. Yeah. And use it as a way to learn, like for me, to calm down. And for Cathy to be a little more, I guess, proactive and
more outgoing, more outgoing. I don't want to say aggressive, because that's not really, I mean, just, you know, finding that balance where both of our levels of speed of life can mesh together. Exactly. So let's talk about what is repair, because, you know, I think we can all agree that at some point or another we've all been in conflict.
Yes.
And a lot of times, even we can speak for ourselves, we didn't know how to repair it. So let's talk about what repair really is. Yes. And so today we're going to talk about repair as it's what helps the relationship to recover. Yep. You know, after tension, after misunderstandings, if we're hurt or if we're in conflict, it's really the process of coming back together. Yes. Emotionally, after you've been disconnected. Not just coming and sitting next to each other. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but it's coming back together emotionally after you've been disconnected.
And one thing, I'm probably going to be ahead a little bit, but that's what I do.
It's what you do. I try to correct it. It doesn't work.
Is that, now I forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay.
Yeah, it'll come. So it must not have been that important.
No, it'll come up. You always are good at that.
Repair says, I don't want to stay divided. I care about your heart.
Thank you.
I want to reconnect. Mm-hmm. Let's not let this create distance between us. And I remember what I was going to say. Those are all critical things. That's how we repair. Yeah. By not going through the repair process, what's happening is we're stuffing down. Yeah. What happened in that conflict.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Yeah. Why repair is important.
Right. And all that does is build a huge resentment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that, you know, and here's what's really important. Repair doesn't mean we're pretending nothing happened, because we know it's happened. It doesn't mean stuffing feelings like you're talking about, or brushing things under the rug, which a lot of us have done. Right. But what repair really means is that we're acknowledging the hurt. We're going to take responsibility where needed, and intentionally rebuilding connection. And that's the thing. Anytime we're in conflict, we have to be intentional. Yes. So that word's going to come up, I think, a little bit, a few times here. We have to be intentional.
You know, pretending like nothing happened, and I'm going to throw this in there, forgiveness. Because a lot of people think, well, if I forgive him or her for what just happened and the way that I was hurt, that means I can allow them to do it again. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. That's not what it means. It happened. The pain happened.
We have to acknowledge it.
We have to acknowledge it, right? We acknowledge it so we can grow through it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? No, and it's okay. Yeah. It doesn't mean forgiveness is for you, not for the other person.
Right. No, that's so true. And it's a process. Yes, we talked about before. Yeah.
So a lot of people grew up in homes where conflict was either explosive or avoided. Right?
All together,
right? It was just one way or the other, right? So many people never actually learn what healthy repair looks like. Mm-hmm. Again, we got these behaviors because they're all learned behaviors.
Learned behaviors, right? Applied over and over again.
Over and over. They may have learned silence. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a wicked one. Silent treatment is not nice. No. Right? They point the finger at the other person. Emotionally shut down. Mm-hmm. Passive aggressiveness. Ooh, a passive aggression.
Mm-hmm.
That is that's wicked.
That's me. It has been me, I
that
should
was
say.
you. It's not no more.
Yeah.
Or just move on and never talk about it. How's that work?
That doesn't work well.
But that's not repair.
No,
right?
No, not at all.
So when there is no repair after conflict, couples may stay together physically, but emotionally, they begin drifting apart.
Yeah. This is very, very common. It was with us.
Yep.
We've seen it over and over with clients. So over time, that unresolved conflict, it just starts to pile up. I look at it, I look at that piling up like a volcano, and I probably shared this analogy before, but a volcano is narrow at the top and wider at the bottom. And so that conflict just starts piling into the bottom of that volcano, and eventually it makes its way to the top.
Yes.
And if you know anything about volcanoes, when a volcano explodes, everything spills out.
Yeah.
So, So unresolved conflict, it really starts to pile up.
Right.
And that's
a great analogy.
I love that.
Really
As I was saying it, I pictured everything I stuffed in there.
Right.
So when couples begin saying things like, we just feel distant, or maybe they say, we're not connecting anymore, everything feels tense. This one we hear a lot. We're roommates, not partners. Right. We have a lot of people that say, we just feel like roommates.
We just feel distant, right? Mm-hmm. What I've learned to do, right, instead of saying we just feel distant, I'll ask Cathy, are you okay? And she'll go, yeah, why? I go, because I just feel like we're not connected or something. Yeah. That's how I feel, right? And then she'll, no, we're good. I go, right? Because when she tells me I'm good, she'll tell me if we're not, believe me. Right, so that's a common thing, but just maybe rephrase the way they say it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So because every unresolved moment leaves a little emotional residue behind. And eventually, if those moments are not repaired, they become huge resentments.
Right.
Not little resentments. The longer you leave them unrepaired, the bigger that resentment comes.
Oh, I know that. That's so true. A lot of couples, we just don't realize that what we're feeling in the present is not about the current disagreement or the current conflict.
Right.
It's usually something that's unrepaired pain from our past, something that we've already walked through but never healed from.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's I was just thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back even farther than, let's just say, in the marriage or long-term relationship with man and woman. It goes back deeper than that. It goes back all the way into our childhood.
It can.
Oftentimes, a lot of the conflict that Cathy and I had really had nothing to do with the thing that was happening at that moment. It was some unresolved pain that I had all the way back from my childhood.
So you're saying you had a really big volcano that you were filling up?
Oh my God, that I
like
had.
Kilauea? Isn't that what it's called?
It was bigger than Kilauea.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Cathy saw the wrath of it one too many times.
Yeah.
And that's why small repair moments matter so much. Yeah. Remember, a lot of small repairs can end up in a big repair. Mm-hmm. And it protects the relationship. It protects your relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about conflict. We've talked about why it's hard. Let's talk about why it's hard to fix. Mm-hmm. Talking about it can be very difficult. And so if we're honest, even when we know that the repair is needed, sometimes we resist it. And I have been that person that has resisted it, and that's where the stuffing took place.
And it brings up something interesting in my head that we talk about all the time, is when we're going to sit down to resolve conflict, we have to get rid of you words. Don't be saying you did this, you did that. If you wouldn't have said this, if you wouldn't have done that, it comes back to, during this situation or during this conversation, I feel like I was being attacked. Again, that's a whole communication thing that we talk about with a lot of our couples, but that could be a whole nother, matter of fact.
That's a whole other topic.
But I'm putting a communication workshop together right now.
All right.
Okay?
So let's continue here, because we know that so much of conflict has to do with communication for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and there's a lot of reasons for that,
mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes it's pride.
Yep.
It's fear. Mm. And sometimes we're still hurt and don't feel ready.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes we don't know how to come back without feeling vulnerable. That's a scary word for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Taking chances.
Yeah. And for a lot of us, many people, conflict touches even deeper wounds.
Right.
And this is kind of where it probably comes back from our childhood, that it may trigger rejection. It could trigger shame. We can have abandonment feelings, feeling unheard, unvalued, unsafe. There's so many things. But we have to be honest and have to be able to identify those. So what looks like just an argument on the outside may really be touching something much deeper on the inside.
Yeah, that you put it in that last thing, that unheard, right? And that is definitely something that comes from childhood.
Yeah.
Right? We lose our voice. A lot of people will lose their voice somewhere along the line. So it's just better to keep their mouth shut. That's where conflict
comes into that too.
So, and when that happens, people often go into protection mode, right? Which can be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Instead of connection mode, that is when repair feels hard. Because the nervous system is telling us, protect yourself, instead of move towards your partner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got to protect myself at all costs, and however I got to do
that. Yeah, I'm not coming close to you. So, and that's why repair often requires intentionality. There's my word again. I'm going to be intentional about these things. And it usually doesn't happen naturally, especially when emotions are high. We really cannot connect when our emotions are taking over. Your adrenaline's going. You've lost all ability to find that happy middle.
Right. Yeah. We got to give a chance for our adrenaline to reset, and that means walking away.
Yeah, that's
and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? As long as you let your partner know.
Yeah.
So let's make this practical. Right? Make it simple. What does healthy repair actually look like? Calming down before coming back, or responding rather than reacting. Okay. Repair doesn't usually happen well in the middle of an escalation, or it just flat out. It could get worse.
No, and as you're talking about this, my visual is two cats just fighting and hair going everywhere. That's what it feels like.
That's
sometimes.
what it feels. That's what it looks like probably too. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is pause and regulate before trying to reconnect. Again, your adrenaline got flowing, and once that adrenaline takes over, often we say things we're not even thinking about it. It just comes out. So we got to calm back down. Okay?
Yeah. So that might look like stepping away, not to avoid, because a lot of times we step away and we avoid and we never come back. Right. But it really is to calm down enough to come back in a healthy way. Right. And so a healthy pause, which is what we want to do, might sound like, I want to talk to you about this, but I need a few minutes to calm down so I can come back well. And that's the thing. We want to come back well. Right. And it's very different from storming off or shutting down or never talking about it again. Right. Yeah. So, and then the second item is acknowledging the hurt.
That's important.
Repair really will begin when we say things like, I can see that I hurt you.
Well, you didn't hurt me. I'm made out of steel. I can take it.
Don't take away from me trying to be vulnerable here, sir. That's just what he did right there can shut somebody down again.
Exactly.
So be mindful of that. So we might say, I can see that I hurt you. I realize what I said impacted you. I know that didn't feel good. And that kind of acknowledgement is powerful, because what we're doing is we're telling the other person that your pain matters.
Yes,
that you're important to me. Yes. And I'm sorry that you're feeling that way.
In fact, that was one of the key aspects in our healing from the abuse, is I had to listen to Cathy and acknowledge the pain that I caused her, and never once tell her, get over it, it happened a long time ago. Never say those words, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Their pain is their pain, and it takes what it takes. And a lot of times what a person needs most after conflict is not an explanation, and this is critical. It's validation. I'm sorry that I hurt you that way. And you being upset at me and some of the things I said, I understand. You have a right to feel that way after. I should never talk to you that way. So I'm just going to let you know that I'm still working on becoming better, and I'm going to continue that journey so I can no longer say things that are going to hurt you that way.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
There it is. It's that simple, right? Repair also, taking responsibility, right? Repair also requires ownership. That means saying, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I can see how my tone affected you. I reacted from my hurt. Mm-hmm. The other part of communication, this whole conflict resolution, is we have to think about our tone of voice. I remember one morning, it never left my mind, is that Cathy and I were in our bathroom and some kind of conflict came. I don't know what it was. Can't remember. But all I know is this, is Cathy said, Randy, stop and go look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And it was an eye-opener, right? Because I was scared, not from what I was saying, but because of the way, when I get that way, our faces change. Right. Right. So it's facial expression oftentimes. So don't be afraid to tell your partner, whoa, let's calm down. Mm-hmm. You're scaring me. What do you mean I'm scaring you? Go look in the mirror at your face. Right.
Yeah, ownership isn't a weakness.
No.
It's not a weakness. No, it's really, ownership is maturity. Yes. And so it creates an emotional safety in that relationship. And just I know that you kind of read these, but you gave an example. Right. I felt safe with that because I felt validated, I felt heard, and I felt like that you cared about me. Right. And I think that's what's important. Right. So the fourth thing that we want to talk about is when we're in this repair mode is asking what is needed.
Yes.
So one of the most beautiful repair questions you can ask is, what do you need from me right now?
Right.
Because that question really will communicate care. And it's basically telling the other person, I want to help restore our connection.
Right.
Not just end the argument, but I actually want to restore it.
Right. And if your partner asks that question, accept it.
Yeah.
Don't put your roadblock up. Accept it, right?
Yeah.
And answer the question.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes what's needed is a hug, right? Just a simple hug. Time is really important.
Yeah.
Clarity, an apology with an amend, which actually should be an amends, right? Mm-hmm. With an apology with action. And simply, this is so critical, simply being heard.
Yeah.
Overall, people just want to be heard, seen, and validated.
Yeah.
That is a critical thing in helping resolve conflict of any type.
True. Very true.
Any type, right?
Yeah.
Repair is not complete until there's some form of reconnection.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're connected.
Well, it could be.
Yeah. That may look like sitting together, praying together, holding hands, and a gentle touch. Mm-hmm. I know, and Cathy and I both love the pack of holding hands, gentle touches. Those are really important to us, right? We're okay. We'll work through this.
That's something you can say. Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can work through this.
We're in this together. We're working on a relationship together. We're going to get through this, and we're going to become stronger because of it.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest, simplest, most gigantic healing word after a conflict,
this is really
you can just simply say is, I'm still here.
Yes.
I'm still
not
here.
Going nowhere.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
That's powerful because oftentimes what might be going through your spouse's or partner's head is, he or she's going to leave me now.
Right.
I just blew it really bad. They're never going to. Right. So it's really important.
I'm still here.
I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to work through this together. Yeah. Right. One of the biggest things couples need to understand is this. Mm-hmm. Repair is skill that takes practice. Mm-hmm. Right. It's skill.
Over and over again.
Over and over again. Right. It's not just something you do when you feel like it.
Right.
Okay? It has to be done after every conflict.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, that's good. And the more you practice the repair, the more natural it becomes. It's like anything else, like riding a bike. The first time you rode your bike, it was all wobbly and you fell and you got scrapes. But the more you practice it, the more it becomes natural. And, it might feel awkward. It might feel forced. And it will, because I've been there. I know that. It feels awkward. It feels forced. But over time, couples who learn repair, that will build a deeper trust. Mm-hmm. It gives you greater emotional safety and more resilience. And when I say more resilience, the word that comes to mind is empowerment. Because the more I've done things that are uncomfortable, the more empowered I have become. Mm. Yeah.
So, sometimes a person might say, I'm tired of fighting all the time. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean fight like this. I'm tired of fighting for a relationship. I'm going to give an example. It goes back to my business, right? Mm-hmm. This is personal. When we had to shut the business down, that was a 20-year blood, sweat, and tear, and we built it. It was
love-hate relationship.
Love-hate relationship, very much so. But it was very successful, right? And when I had to give that business up, right? It's like, I'm done. I just spent 20 years of my life building a successful business. It was taken away from me, not by any doing of mine. We were liquid. Everything was good. Why should I waste my time trying to do anything else when, and I'll be honest with you, when the government's just going to do stupid stuff and it's going to force me to have to close my doors, right? I was done with it, right? That same thing can happen in a relationship. Yeah. I'm tired of this fight. I mean,
our hands go in the air, the white flag is waving.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
And don't think that Cathy and I haven't had our times when that was happening. Probably more so with me than Cathy, right? Because Cathy's just, it's going to work out. But that's going to happen, right? And it's just, okay, you said what you feel. Now, get back to the work of healing and repair. Because obviously, we got married or entered into a long-term relationship, partnership with our spouse or partner, because there was something about them that we truly love.
Right.
And that is still in there.
Yeah.
Right. So don't give up on that.
No, not at all.
Strive to get that back and make each other better.
Yeah. No. Another thing that repair is, that you have to remember is repair is deeply spiritual.
Deeply spiritual, yes.
Because repair reflects the heart of God. And God is always about reconciliation, restoration, grace, and renewal. And those are the things that we desire when we're wanting to build back from that conflict.
God is a key thing. And Cathy and I have seen both, in alcohol addiction recovery and personal recovery. And I say this, we don't like to preach. We talk about God, we talk about Scripture when we need to in our counseling. Right. But finally, I said something to a couple the other night that I couldn't go without saying it. And that if you don't have God at the center of your relationship, whether it's a partnership or marriage, it's gonna fail at some point.
It's definitely gonna struggle for sure.
Oh, Randy, you're being judgmental. You know why I'm being judgmental? Because I've seen it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
A godless marriage, a godless recovery, the chance of that truly happening, long-term recovery, is probably 5%.
Yeah, that's low. It's definitely low.
It's really low. Okay, so when we choose repair in our relationships, we are participating in that same redemptive work.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Just recovery is recovery, right? I don't want the vision to have the final word. Ooh, you're a right fighter. You got to get the last word in.
Right.
I don't want pride to win. I want healing more than I want distance.
Yeah.
So the thing about pride, you need to check your pride and your ego at the front door. Never let it get in between you and your spouse or partner.
And this doesn't mean that every issue is going to be instantly resolved.
No.
It's not going to be fixed right away.
No.
It's practices, but it does mean that the relationship is still being protected. So if you're applying these tools for repair in conflict, it means that you're protecting your relationship. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to look at.
Another thing we didn't mention here, too, that's part of the repair, is we've got to ask ourselves, what are we making such a big deal of something?
What's bothering me so much with this situation?
Yeah, exactly. Why?
Self-reflection.
Exactly. This isn't a big deal. It's everyday life. Why are we getting so upset over it? Why can't we just have a calm, loving, conversation?
Because a lot of times it's something going on within us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got to learn to find the balance in all this stuff.
Yeah, so good.
If you're listening today and you've been carrying unresolved tension in your marriage or relationship, maybe this is your invitation to take one small step toward repair.
Yeah.
One small step.
One small step. It's not to force a big emotional breakthrough. That takes time. And it's not to have all those perfect words to say, but it's simply to begin. And so how do we begin?
Yeah.
Maybe the step looks like an apology. Maybe it's a conversation. It could be just a simple text. I love you and I'm sorry. And I want, you're important to me. Perhaps it's sitting down and having a prayer, or just saying, I don't want us to stay disconnected.
My number one mentor, WSD, Way Spiritual Dave, him and his wife, what they would do when conflict started to arise, right? And, it's hard to do, but he was solid. They would stop, grab each other's hands, and drop to their knees, and they would ask God to help resolve the issue. And they would tell God, this is what's going on in me. This is why I'm having a problem. But we don't want to have this problem anymore.
Right. No.
And it's like, to me, that's
Yeah.
Really powerful,
yeah,
right?
That's good. I love how they did that.
Yeah, we should do that probably.
We should probably practice that a little bit more.
Repair is powerful because it keeps the relationship from being defined by the conflict.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, it reminds both people what happened matters, but our connection still matters too. There was that video I sent you yesterday about the tattoos, right? And why are we focusing on that one conflict, but yet we have this whole life, right?
Of beautiful things.
Of beautiful things. And that's Cathy and I realized that. I went to her one day. I says, you know, Cathy, here's the thing.
Stuck.
Well, yeah, but we get stuck, especially in recovery, because in recovery, we're looking at a lot of things that were negative, that we have to repair in our mind with God, right? And it's like, I said to her one day, I says, you know what, it's time. Yeah, we had issues.
Right.
But the majority of our marriage prior to the issues, we had fun.
We did.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's like...
It took you saying that for me to open up to that, because sometimes we get so narrow, we're tunnel vision on the things that aren't doing well. We forget all the beautiful things that have happened.
Yeah, it's basically what they did is we're going with the tattoo shop. It says, will you tattoo the number
60 or whatever it was.
360 on, right? And he goes, yeah, but can I ask why? He goes, because I want to remember my daughter fought addiction, and she lost. But I don't want to remember that. I want to remember the 360 days that she fought and gave everything she could, because it's a battle. Yeah. And when she left, I love that story, right? And when she left the tattoo, right, she gave him a pretty handsome fee, right? He didn't ask for it. She turned and says, can I ask you something to do? And he goes, yeah. All I want you to do is somebody walks in here and wants a number tattooed on them, just do it at no cost. And that guy's doing it and still doing it. It's amazing, right? So don't focus on the terrible or the conflict that's happening in the moment, but what about all the good times we have?
Yeah, well, that's good.
Right? So, remember the good things.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, so if this episode encouraged you, we'd love for you to share it with someone who might need it. Remember, you have the ability to share something. You never know who you might be helping in the moment. And that's why we do what we do, because we know that every word spoken, every opportunity, everything we share may give somebody else hope. Absolutely. And so we're going to ask you to share it with somebody else.
Absolutely. And if you and your spouse or partners are in a place where conflict has created ongoing distance and you need help rebuilding trust, communication, and connection, we'd be honored to walk with you. Yeah. And we mean with you, right? Not against you, but with you. If you're struggling in your relationship or carrying unresolved hurt from your past, please know this. You're not alone.
Nope, not at all.
At Heal and Restore Counseling, we offer a no-cost, 1-hour discovery session for both individuals and couples. This session provides a safe, supportive space to share what you're navigating, gain clarity, and begin identifying meaningful goals for healing and growth. It's simply a first step, taken at your pace with compassion and care. Yeah. Right? So don't lose hope. Yeah. Healing is possible, and it can begin today. So just to schedule that 1-hour discovery session, just visit healandrestorecounseling.com.
There's a link there.
There's a link there. You can
click on that,
fill in the information, or you can shoot us an email. And we usually get back to you within
24 hours, but much sooner.
Much sooner than that. Yeah, we usually
my phone is attached to my hand.
Yeah, so usually within the same day we get back to you.
Yeah. So, and just as we close this out, I just want to remind you, healing is possible. Connection can be rebuilt, and repair has the power to restore what conflict tries to divide. So, healing is possible. Connection can be rebuilt, and repair has the power to restore what conflict tries to divide.
All right. And if you're listening to this, just press the follow and like button and share buttons. That's all we ask you to do. We're not asking for a whole lot. And I want to add something, because it's been a while, I think. You know, we're getting new followers all the time. So if you want to know more about Cathy and I, what we do, where we come from, just go to our website, www.healingrestoredcounseling.com. Then we got about coaches on. There's testimonials, everything.
You can see the books that are available.
Yeah, the books that are available
as well. You can purchase them through there. So check out our website.
Yeah,
check it out for yourself. Check it out for a friend. Pass it along to a friend.
Right, absolutely. Okay, you good?
I'm good.
I know you're always good. Right? Oh, remember this, everybody. Nobody tells you they love you today. Randy does.
Cathy does.
More importantly, God does. Have a blessed week.
Have a great week.